Hey Tula, tonight we're going to work on releasing tension in the neck and shoulders in our R&R class. You are going to need a few props if you have them. A bolster is going to come in handy, or of course you can always use a bunch of folded blankets. A strap could be very useful. And then also 2 tennis balls or 2 baseballs, or if you have massage balls, you can use those. I just have 2 baseballs that I've put into a sock because we're going to be doing a little bit of self-massage as well. If you don't have the baseballs, you can still do this practice, and I will show you a little massage technique in its place. So we're going to go ahead and get started standing. You can do this practice seated in a chair as well. A nice sturdy chair, just sit on the edge, and you can join in. So go ahead and close your eyes, release your hands down at your sides. And just find your breath. Take a moment to feel your feet planted firmly on the ground. Find length all the way up your feet, all the way up your legs, through your torso, through the crown of your head. Your collarbones are broad and open. Working to balance your shoulders over your hips over your ankles, and then your ears over your shoulders. Come back to the breath. Utilize your full belly breaths, your full inhales, and your full exhales. Slow your breath to the count of 4 on an inhale. Count of 6 on the exhale. And pause between your inhale and your exhale. And then notice the sensation in your hands and in your feet. There is an energetic pull downward, gravity. And connect with that sensation. Continuing your inhales to a count of 4, pause, exhale, count of 6, pause. And then keeping your eyes closed, bring your hands to your heart. Now just take a moment to set an intention for your practice. And then you can softly open your eyes, but keep your gaze soft. And then inhale, sweep both hands up. Palms tap, look up at your hands. And then exhale, fold. You're going to bend your knees, fold forward from your hips. Inhale, hands come to shins. Gaze forward. Broaden your heart forward. Exhale, release. And then inhale, bend your knees, sweep your hands all the way back up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And if you're seated in a chair, you're just going through these motions from the chair. Inhale, sweep hands back up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep your hands all the way up through Tadasana. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Bend your knees on an inhale, sweep both hands back up. On exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands sweep up. You're going to keep lifting your right hand up, drop your left hand. Right hand comes to the outside of the left, of your head onto the left. And gently draw down. Press your head back up into your hand. And then turn your nose down towards your armpit. Same thing, you're pressing down very gently, pressing up to create resistance. Sometimes we need to create a little bit of resistance to release tension. And inhale, reach both hands back up. And we'll do the other side. Right hand drops. Ear comes down towards shoulder. Press your head back into your ear. Continue to breathe. And then turn your nose down towards your armpit. Again, press down towards the back of your head. Head presses back up. Inhale, both hands reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands sweep up. This time we're going to come into a little side bend. So reach through your fingertips, plant down into your feet. If you're seated on the ground, plant down into your sitting bones in both your feet. Sorry, seated on your chair. And then side bend over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Reach through the fingers. Side bend opposite direction over to the left. Inhale, back to center. Then we're going to interlace the fingers. Press the palms back up towards the ceiling. Drop the tops of your hands to your head. Draw your elbows back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. You might feel a little tension or tightness in between the shoulder blades. Again, we're kind of creating that tension to resist or to release tension. Inhale, press both hands up. Stretch from your feet all the way up through the palms of your hands. And then one more time. Hands to the head, elbows draw back. Inhale, hands reach up. Exhale, release hands down. Inhale, hands sweep up. This time, interlace your fingers. Press your index finger up towards the ceiling. Keep both feet grounded. Side bend to the right. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing can become a little restricted in side bends, so breathe into both sides of the lung evenly. Come back to center. Release your hands back down. And we're going to bring our hands to the back of the head. You're going to interlace your fingers. And this part of your hands right here, your thumb and your index finger, is actually going to cradle the back of your skull. And then you're very, very gently going to pull up, create length. You want your face parallel with the wall in front of you. So chin not pushing out or tucking in too far. Pull up, draw your elbows forward, and then think about hollowing out your elbows. And then press your head into your hands. Inhale, reach both hands back up, interlace fingers, press up through the index fingers again. And then side bend, opposite direction. Maintaining your breath. Inhale, back to center. Hands come to the back of the skull again. So you're cradling the back of the skull, elbows come forward, hollow out the armpits. So you're thinking about drawing the shoulder blades back and together. Lifting up with your hands to create some space, and then press your head into the backs of your hands. Inhale, sweep both hands up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, sweep both hands up. Palms tap, exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Bend your knees, sweep your hands all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We're going to interlace the fingers, the hands back behind ourselves. If you have a strap and you need a little extra space in between the hands, this is a good place to utilize that strap or a sturdy scarf or a long sock, whatever you have. Otherwise, you're going to interlace the fingers, squeeze shoulder blades together, keep your heart open. Knees bend just a little bit, and then fold forward. Sitting bones slide up as you fold forward. Try, if your hands are together, try to keep the palms of your hands together. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then when you're ready, inhale, bend your knees, come all the way back up to standing. We're going to do it again. Switch your grip. So if you come into this natural grip, you're going to switch it to what's awkward. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, heart opens, collarbones are broad and smiling, knees bend, fold forward. Keep reaching the palms towards one another. Keep lifting the hands up towards the ceiling. And exhale, release the hands all the way down to the ground. Walk your feet just a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Grab onto opposite elbows. Bend your knees a little bit. Let your head and neck dingle. Maybe even sway side to side a little bit. And then come back to center. We're going to release the hands on the ground, come into a downward facing dog. If you're using the chair, you're going to want to set that aside. Hands plant on the ground. Walk your feet back. If it's your first down dog, you might want to pedal the feet, shake out the hips a little bit. And then we're going to settle into the pose, the down dog.
we want to stay fairly relaxed in the shoulders. So a trick, not a cheat, a trick, is to turn your index fingers up towards the front of your mat. This will externally rotate your upper arms and give you a little bit more space. And then think about relaxing the shoulders, tops of your shoulders away from your ears. Now we're going to do a little work here. Think about pressing the back of your head into two imaginary arms like we did when we were standing. So you're creating that work, pressing your head to the backs of your pretend hands. And take one more breath. Full inhale. Full exhale. And then when you're ready, inhale, come forward onto hands and knees. Walk your hands forward a little bit so that when you lean forward on your knees, your shoulders are over your wrists. Elbows stay hugging in. Navel draws in, and we're going to lower all the way down to the ground. Now from here, we're going to come into a variation of cobra pose. You bring your hands to the back of your head, just like we did when we were standing. Interlace your fingers, and then cradle the back of your skull. Come up onto your elbows. Think about hollowing out your armpits again. Navel draws in. Press your head into the back of your hands, and then rise up. Think about drawing your shoulder blades together onto your back or hugging them towards one another. Exhale, release. Forehead can come to the ground. And then we're going to do it again. Interlace your fingers. Cradle your skull. Prop up a little bit onto your elbows. Hollow out your armpits. Shoulder blades squeeze together. Navel draws in. And then see if you can lift your elbows off the floor. And then exhale, release. Forehead to the floor or to your arms, your hands. And from here, locust pose, variation of interlacing the fingers. You can use your strap here between the hands. If you don't want to grab the strap or interlace your fingers, you have the option to just reach your hands back towards your feet as well. So we're going to interlace the fingers or take whatever variation you're going to take. Forehead starts on the ground. Roll your shoulders back first. Lift your head off the ground. Reach your hands back towards your feet. And then maybe lift your feet if it feels okay on your back. We'll hold for about 3 breaths. And exhale, release. Forehead to ground or cheek to ground. And then we're going to do it again. Reach your hands back behind you. Take the opposite grip, awkward grip. Shoulders roll back. Lift your head. Lift your hands towards your feet. And then maybe lift the feet off the ground. And exhale, release. Take a moment to pause here. Come back to your breath. Come back to your intentions. Hands come about chest height. Plant your hands on the ground. Roll your shoulders back, elbows draw in, press up to knees. And then we're going to take a puppy dog pose. Hands stay stretching forward, hips stay lifted, and just let your head float here. You'll see this pose done with the head on the ground or chin on the ground. It's actually really hard on the shoulders. Some people have that in their genes. Most people need their heads to float, or at least ears in line with arms. Inhale, come back up onto hands and knees. Here's where you're going to want your blocks, if you have them. You can do it without blocks as well. So you're going to take your blocks and lay them on the ground so that they're about shoulder distance apart. You take your knees wide. We're setting up for child's pose. Hips shift back towards the feet. And then we're going to plant elbows onto the blocks. Hands come together in prayer. Roll, draw your shoulder blades back. Roll your shoulders back. And then you release your head. Again, head probably is just going to float between the arms, ears in line with the arms. And then drop your hands behind your head. And we're going to pause here for several breaths. Inhale, release by straightening your arms. And then make your way back up onto hands and knees. You can set your blocks aside. From here, from hands and knees, we're going to do, I've seen it called hare pose or rabbit pose before. It's a little bit of an odd one, and if you have neck issues, you might want to just pass and take another child's pose or variation of child's pose. So we're actually going to come from hands and knees and rest on the very tops of our heads. So one cool trick to find the very top of your head is to take your thumbs into the very tops of your earlobes. Take your index fingers right to the top of your head. Should kind of have a little bit of a flat spot, though that's not true for everybody. Some people are rounded on the top, but a lot of people have little flat spots where you would think about balancing a book or a block on your head. So you're going to start knees together, come onto hands and knees, and you're going to place your head down onto the ground, top of the head. And here I'm probably about a foot away from my knees. And then you just start to lift your hips. This is a very deep stretch for the back of the neck. And take one more inhale. And then when you're ready, exhale. Slowly come back up. If you come out too fast, you get a little dizzy. I do sometimes have some neck, shoulder issues, and sometimes when I do that pose, I can feel it all the way down into the middle of my back. It's just a stretch along the fascia. It's pretty incredible. So from here, we're going to do a little neck stretch. I'm going to show you two variations. So if you have your tennis balls and a block, you don't have to have a block, but the block makes it nice. Your tennis balls are going to go onto your block. You're going to come onto your back into almost like a bridge pose or a supine relaxed position. Feet on the ground. Knees bent. And then your block is right underneath your head. You don't want to feel your block on your neck at all. And then your massage balls, they're going to come right on the base of the skull. And if you can put them into like a sock or something or a net that holds them together like this, otherwise you're going to have to reach up, kind of hold them in place, which is okay. But you're just going to rock your head side to side a little bit or nod up and down. It gets right on those tension spots. If you don't have the balls, that's okay. You're going to take a seated position and you're going to take your hands to the back of your neck. And on either side of your vertebrae, you're going to feel those deep muscles right there. And you can kind of just start to massage. The thumbs work the best here. Just really strongly massage into the back of your neck. Maybe even go down along those deep muscles. And just pause on those places where you're really tight. You can press into them for a moment. We're going to play around with this for another minute or two. And while you're getting into your muscles, you're also listening to your breath, trying to slow your breath to that inhale for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 6, pause in between the inhale and the exhale. Now from here, you're going to very slowly, if you're on your back, roll to one elbow, one forearm. Make your way up to a seated position. I'm going to show you another stretch or another little self-massage / stretch to get into the front of the neck. But let's start by, we're going to find where we were just massaging. And you're going to trace over towards the ear a little bit more. You're going to find that deep muscle right there. You can almost grab it. And you're just going to use your fingers, maybe 3 fingers, and you're just going to run down the length of that muscle. And if you find a spot that's tender, hold on that spot for just a second before you move on. And do that a couple more times. And we'll do the other side. Find that muscle. Trace it down from the base of your skull. Do it 1 or 2 more times. Okay. So then that stretch for the front of the neck. So it seems kind of weird, but you're going to find your collarbone. Then you're going to take your fingers, at least 3 fingers or so. I use both of my hands. And you're going to place your hands just below, or your fingers just below your collarbones, and really gently you're going to pull down. So you're going to create a little bit of tension, or a little bit of, make it tight. And then you're going to move your chin and your head. So chin lifts up just a little bit, and then over. If you let go, you don't get as much of a stretch. And this is stretching some of those superficial muscles. And then if you start to slide your hands down, you might find over and down a little bit of a deeper stretch. You start to lift your chin up towards the ceiling just a little bit more. I can feel it all the way up into my jaw. I have I don't know if it's TMJ, but I grind my teeth. My jaw will lock sometimes. So I can really feel that. And we'll do the other side. So again, fingers right below the collarbone. And you're just gently going to pull down. Chin lifts up and over. And then maybe start to lift your chin up towards the ceiling a little bit. And then go ahead and release. And we'll just do some good old-fashioned neck circles. So drop your chin to your chest. And then let's just start by rocking the head side to side. Pause where you feel like you could use a deeper stretch. Maybe even reach your hand up there and massage those areas that are holding tension.
Inhale, bring your head back to center. Relax the tops of your shoulders. Lengthen through the crown of your head and then turn. Gaze over the right shoulder. Come back to center. Gaze over the left shoulder. You shrug those shoulders a few times. All right, from here, let's take some eagle arms. And actually, let's add it with a little forward fold. You're gonna take your feet wide here. Sit up onto a blanket if your hips are really tight. And then hands come out wide. Options are cross your right hand over your left and just give yourself a big hug. Some people get a great stretch right here. Another option, you're gonna bend your elbows, bring the backs of the hands to one another. Option 3, take your bottom fingertips, wrap it around your top palm. You can also use a strap here and just grab onto that strap. If you're in full eagle arms here, you're gonna think about turning your thumbs so that they're in line with the bridge of your nose. Keep the back of your head long, lift your elbows up for a little bit of a deeper stretch. And then if you have the space, you can start to fold forward just a little bit here. One trick to get the hips to cooperate a little bit in your forward fold is to dig your heels into the ground if that doesn't hurt your heels. And then that can help to tilt your pelvis a little bit deeper. And then inhale, sit up nice and tall. Let's go ahead and unravel, shake it out a little bit, do the other side. Again, big hug, backs the hands together, or wrap the fingertips, or use a strap. And then for full eagle arms, you're going to turn your thumbs towards the bridge of your nose, in line with the bridge of your nose. Lift the elbows up. And then start to fold forward a little bit deeper. Keep the back of your head long. And what that means is you're not pushing your chin up so that you're looking at the camera. You're gazing at your hands, or your arms rather. And then inhale, go ahead and lift back up. Shake it out. Legs come back together. We're gonna come onto our backs, but have your bolster or your stack of blankets handy. Come all the way down onto your back. And we're gonna double duty here, do a little hip stretch, as well as work on the neck. So you want the back of your head flat on the ground. If you have a ponytail, you're gonna have to move it. Face is parallel. And we're just gonna cross the right ankle above the left knee. You can stay here if this is a good enough stretch for you. Otherwise, draw the knees in towards the chest and grab onto the back of the left thigh. I think I gave you direction. So right ankle above left knee, and you're grabbing onto the back of the left thigh. Then you can use your right elbow to press into your right thigh as you draw the legs a little deeper towards you. Now for the head and neck, press your head firmly into the ground. You can feel these little muscles that we were just massaging fire up when you do that. And then go ahead and release, shake your head side to side a little bit. And then let's do it again. Press the back of your head into the ground. Still stretching the thighs, the hips. And then release and shake your head side to side. And take one more big inhale.
And an exhale. Let's release the feet. Do the other side. Left ankle above right knee. Keep it here or draw both knees in towards the chest. Grab onto the back of the thigh, right thigh. Then you're going to use your left elbow into your left knee. And then one more time, you're going to press the back of your head firmly into the ground. And then release and just shake your head. One more time, press your head into the ground. And release, and then shake your head. And then hold for another breath. And then exhale, go ahead and release. So one more here, creating tension to release tension. You're going to take your from your bridge pose position, feet on the ground, knees bent. You're going to take your hands out wide to a T. Your palms are going to lay flat on the ground. And you want to lift your upper back a little bit, walk your shoulder blades together a little bit there. Back of the head still flat on the ground. And you want to think about moving the shoulder, top of your shoulder, top of the humerus, down towards the ground, rolling it towards the ground. As you press the base of your thumb, base of the pinky into the ground. Okay, relax that. And then do it again. Shoulder blades are drawing together, tops of the shoulders, moving down towards the ground. Press the base of your thumb, base of the pinky into the ground, navel draws in, and then lift your hips. Keep pressing your head into the ground. And don't forget to breathe. Exhale, slowly release. We're going to do that one more time. Shoulder blades draw together so the heart is open. Tops of the shoulders, heads of the humerus. Are drawing down towards the ground. Hands are in the ground, base of the thumb, base of the pinky, navel draws in, lift your head. Lift your hips. And then exhale, release your hips down. I just had a moment. I thought I was confusing bones. So out of the humerus, the upper arm bone, I had that right. Thought I was confusing it with the greater trochanter. So the bones that insert into your hips. I'm good. We're good. All right. So last pose before our Shavasana, we're going to end in a supported bridge pose. Depending on your blocks, there's actually two ways you could take a supported bridge. Depending on your props, that is. If you have a block, you can place the block underneath your hips, lowest height or medium height, not the highest height. You want the back of your head flat on the ground and your shoulders on the ground. And you want to make sure when you lie on the ground, your C5 vertebrae isn't touching the ground. That's that vertebrae at the base of your neck that kind of jets out. So that's one way to do a supported bridge. The other one, if you have a bolster, that would probably be the preference for tonight, is to use your bolster in a supported shoulder stand. It's just going to go lengthwise on your mat. You're going to sit on your bolster, and then you're going to walk yourself so that when you lie back, the tops of your shoulders, for women it's about bra line and up, and then the back of your head are on the ground. And you're going to roll your shoulder blades together, hands rest on the ground, knees, you can just let your knees fall in towards one another. And we'll just pause here. The bolster tonight, if you have it, this variation of supported bridge opens in the heart just a little bit more. Whereas I feel like the one with the blocks, you're still getting a heart opening, but it's a little more focused on the hips. And then just start to settle your breath. Inhale for 4. Pause. Exhale for 6. Pause. Inhale and exhale. We're going to take about 5 more breaths here in this pose. And then when you're ready, very slowly, take as much time as you need. You're going to roll off your bolster. If you're using your block, you're just going to lift your hips up. Slowly release your block to the ground. If you're on your bolster, roll over to one side and then move your bolster to the side. And then we'll end in Shavasana. If you need to cover up with another blanket, go ahead. If you can, let's take a traditional Shavasana tonight, flat on the ground, to get that feedback from the ground for your spine. Come back to your breath. Inhale for count of 4. Pause. Exhale for 6. Pause. And then I'm going to end you here in the Shavasana, but I encourage you to stay here for as long as you need. At least 10 minutes, but 15 up to 20 minutes is encouraged. Thank you for joining me tonight, and namaste.